Hi, thanks for watching Talk Local on Rogers TV. I'm Haley Zemak. The holiday season is upon us, and we have several guests in studio who are doing their very best to spread holiday cheer. From food and toy drives to kettle campaigns, our in-studio guests are doing their part to make someone's Christmas just a little merrier. Whether it's trading toys for tickets or planning a celebration with family, we're pleased to tell you about all the great opportunities in Waterloo Region. Now, our first guests are doing good as do-gooders. There are 12 of them in total, but 3 join us now in studio. So welcome to John Neufeld, the Executive Director of the House of Friendship, Jane Barkley and Natalie Brown-Kibble as well. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. John, over to you first. Just tell us about this 12 Days of Good. Love the campaign, by the way.
Yeah, the concept is simple, and what happens at Christmas time is House of Friendship gets a lot of attention due to the Christmas hampers and turkey drive. And so last year we thought, how do we leverage all this attention and encourage volunteerism to benefit other agencies? And so we thought, and how do we partner that with social media? And so we came up with a simple campaign of 12 Days for Good. So we have 12 different days with different themes, and this year, to step it up a little bit, we actually asked 12 people to be do-gooders and then blog about it, talk about what they're doing, talk about the agencies they're passionate about. So we had Karen Cian, myself, E.B. Village, which is one of our residents at House of Friendship, Juanita Metzger, Carlos Benavides, Natalie here, and Jane, the Volunteer Action Center, Peter Thurley, Maddie McIntyre, Mike Farwell, and the Chamber of Commerce are the 12 do-gooders, and they've been awesome and tweeting about their experiences. And so I'll let
so let's
Jane
talk about
share
some of your experiences, if you'd like to start us off.
For sure. Well, I think one of the most interesting things about this campaign to me is that it really uses social media for good. And I mean, I think it's fantastic when we can hear so many negative things on social media that we have a bit of balance to that. But going beyond social media, I think that my best memory, my favorite thing about the campaign has been involving my kids around the Christmas season. It's really nice to have them focus on something outside of themselves. So involving them in the 12 days and having them think about other people in our community and just in our immediate neighborhood even has really helped them to look a little bit beyond themselves around Christmas time when it can be very self-focused.
Okay, great point. And Natalie, over to you if you'd like to share your experience or some stories you have with us.
Yes, it's been wonderful being a part of it. I feel privileged to have been asked. And one of the things that I've really tried to do, because as the do-gooders, a lot of us do good all year, but we really try to focus on what we're doing now and really think about why we're doing it. And so one of the things that was really important to me was engaging other people around me. So for instance, I've lived on my street for 5 years and I've only met half of my neighbors. So I used it really as a reason to get out there and build community in my neighborhood. So what we did as just our one little cul-de-sac was we ended up sponsoring a family through Family and Children's Services and buying their Christmas presents together as a street. So we were able to raise all the money. And the benefit was I got to meet all of my neighbors. So now I know all my neighbors by name. And so that was really, really exciting. And then took it to another level when I went home and tried to engage my family. So every year my family does donates to the food hamper, but we really tried to make an event of it this year. So 6 of us went out and created sort of a competition, and we were running around the grocery store all together, and it got everybody in the grocery store saying, what are they doing? And between us raised enough money to donate 2 full grocery carts to the food hamper program in my local community where I'm from in Owen Sound. And I managed to fill up the entire food hamper bin, so it was just wonderful to engage both my neighbors and then my family, and do-gooding is about doing it with the people that we love and care about, right?
Yeah, and I'm guessing, John, you couldn't have hoped for a better result or a better first kind of run at this. Are these the type of stories that we're hearing?
Exactly, and when I read on Twitter and on the blogs of the other agencies that are benefiting from the do-gooders, that was always the intent of it. It wasn't to get more attention to House of Friendship. We just wanted to leverage it. And, you know, we picked 12 great individuals in our community who, like Natalie said, do good all year round, and so now are inspiring others to do good.
Was it tough to narrow it down to 12, or did you have those 12 kind of, they're smiling, they're like, yeah, we made the cut easily, but really, how was it to narrow it down to 12 people?
Well, I mean, we've got so many great people in our community, so yeah, and there's already a few people that have come on board and saying we want to be on doing this next year, but it's not limited to the 12. We just wanted the 12 to be the foundation and the core, moving it forward. But others have come on board and joined them and are doing something every day. And every day has a different theme. So from food to shelter to community. Today is diversity, so something around that. So it's the creativity that these 12 have shown and others in the community have shown is really what's inspired me as well.
Jane, you mentioned your children and getting them involved. Any other stories you'd like to share with us?
Absolutely.
Over this
Well,
campaign?
actually, my son, who's 14, was involved in the theme of shelter. So we took clothing to House of Friendship, and honestly, we hadn't been there before. As much as we spent time volunteering in the community, it was our first time. And so we went and dropped off clothing, and we had a really interesting conversation about why we were doing that. And it was interesting because it made me think, we don't do this enough. We don't actually talk about it. And my son often sees me go out and volunteer, but we aren't necessarily having those conversations. So we had a really good talk about homelessness in our community. And he actually said, well, we don't have homeless people here. And I thought, well, that's really interesting, you know, and it just highlighted the need for us to have that talk and for education for young people. And I was really thankful to House of Friendship and to 12 Days for Good for that experience with my son.
Yeah, definitely. And it goes to your point as well. You're running around like crazy in the grocery store. People are saying, what are you doing? Right? And is that kind of the ripple effect that we'd like to see with something like this?
Yeah, well, I went and swiped a lot of pins from House of Friendship, so I had a whole pile of these pins that I've challenged my neighbors and my family members to try to do their 12 deeds. And we live in all different communities, not all of them are here. And so now they're starting to tell me the deeds that they're doing. And I had a friend come in from out of town to help me deliver Christmas hampers for House of Friendship last week. And so the engagement process has been just wonderful. And because there's so much flexibility, then some of the things that I already do or was already planning on doing can count as these wonderful good deeds. So for instance, I taught a class on systems thinking community leadership to grade 7s on Monday, which was incredibly amusing and wonderful, and they were brilliant. And so working with SIG, which is an organization at the University of Waterloo, already was planning on working with them, but I could really look at it from a perspective of saying, okay, I'm volunteering to do this. How can I bring good to this situation? How can I really promote doing good in the community? And it actually helped me frame how we were going to teach the class. So
okay, excellent. On that note, thank you so much for your time, Jane, Natalie, and of course John as well. The hashtag is 12 Days for Good, correct?
Absolutely.
And so follow away at the House of Friendship, hashtag 12 Days for Good on Twitter. Thank you very much for your time. You know we're on Twitter as well. You can always follow us too, question or comment on our show topics at Talk Local WR. You can email the show as well, talklocal@rogers.com. We are talking about all things Christmas and holiday theme today, so do stay with us. Lots more great show coming up. Glenn Pelche, the morning news anchor from 570 News, is going to join us after the break to talk about a very worthy cause in our community. We'll be back right after that.